The distress beacon pierced through the void of space, its desperate signal reaching the human colony ship Meridian after traveling 47 light-years. Captain Reynolds studied the translated message on her screen, the alien text flickering with urgency that needed no interpretation. Unknown species requests immediate military assistance against hostile invasion force. Our defenses have failed. Population centers under siege. Please respond. The message originated from a system designated Kepler 442, home to the peaceful Alterian civilization. Intelligence reports described them as a gentle species that had achieved interstellar travel through cooperation rather than conquest. Their technology focused on art, science, and healing rather than warfare. They had never encountered anything like the predatory swarm now consuming their worlds. Reynolds forwarded the message to Earth Command, expecting the usual bureaucratic delays. Instead, she received an immediate response that made her blood run cold. Deploy Alpha Team 7 immediately. Authorization level crimson. Alpha Team 7. Even among the hardened crew of the Meridian, that designation carried weight. These were not soldiers in any conventional sense. They were something else entirely. The team arrived via stealth transport 6 hours later. 5 individuals who looked deceptively ordinary until one noticed the details. The way they moved with predatory grace. The calculating intelligence behind their eyes. The casual manner in which they handled weapons that would terrify most species. Leader, a woman named Blake, stood barely 5 feet tall with graying hair and kind eyes that belonged on a grandmother. She had once held an entire space station hostage for 3 days using nothing but improvised explosives and psychological warfare. The consortium still used her tactics as case studies in their military academies. Beside her stood Marcus, a soft-spoken man who seemed more suited to teaching children than warfare. He had single-handedly infiltrated a fortress moon and eliminated its entire command structure without firing a shot. His specialty was making the impossible seem inevitable. The third member, Reyes, appeared to be sleeping standing up. He was not. His enhanced nervous system processed information at superhuman speeds, allowing him to react to threats before most people could perceive them. In combat, he moved like liquid death. Torres carried herself with the casual confidence of someone who had never met an obstacle she could not overcome. Locked doors, security systems, armed guards, all were merely temporary inconveniences in her path. She could infiltrate any facility, steal any secret, eliminate any target. The final member, Kane, said nothing during the briefing. He did not need to. His reputation spoke for itself. When conventional weapons failed, when tactics proved insufficient, when hope seemed lost, Kane found a way. He was the solution to unsolvable problems. Captain Reynolds found herself uncomfortable in their presence, despite their polite demeanor. These were not people one wanted as enemies. The journey to the Alterian system took 3 standard days. During transit, Alpha Team 7 studied intelligence reports with methodical precision. The enemy force consisted of biomechanical constructs that consumed organic matter to fuel their expansion. They had already stripped 2 outer planets bare and were advancing on the populated inner worlds. The Alterian defense fleet had been overwhelmed within hours. Their weapons were designed to disable rather than destroy. Their tactics focused on minimization of casualties rather than decisive victory. Such consideration made them easy prey for creatures that showed no mercy. Upon arrival at Kepler 442, the tactical situation appeared hopeless. Dozens of enemy vessels swarmed through the system like metallic locusts. The remaining Alterian ships fled toward the outer rim, abandoning their homeworld to save what civilians they could evacuate. Blake studied the tactical display with the same expression she might use to examine a chessboard. After several minutes of silence, she turned to her team. Reyes, I need you to acquire one of their smaller vessels intact. Torres, map their command structure and identify critical nodes. Kane, prepare the special package. Marcus, begin psychological profile analysis of their behavior patterns. The plan that emerged over the following hours would have been dismissed as insanity by any conventional military commander. It relied entirely on the unique capabilities of 5 humans who had long ago transcended normal limitations. The operation began with Reyes slipping through the enemy formation like a ghost, his modified fighter craft invisible to their sensors. Within the hour, he had disabled and captured one of their scout vessels. Delivering it to Torres for analysis. Torres worked with mechanical precision, dissecting the alien technology while mapping the invaders' communication networks. She identified their coordination protocols, their command hierarchy, their tactical preferences. Most importantly, she found their weakness. The enemy operated as a collective consciousness, their individual units linked through quantum entanglement. Networks. This gave them perfect coordination, but also created a vulnerability that Kane exploited with characteristic thoroughness. The device he deployed was ostensibly simple, quantum resonance disruptor, no larger than a briefcase. In practice, it represented decades of theoretical physics, pushed beyond known limits. When activated within their network, it would create cascading feedback loops that would tear their collective consciousness apart. Marcus handled the delivery with elegant simplicity. Rather than fight through their defenses, he convinced them to bring him aboard their command vessel. His psychological manipulation was so subtle that they believed capturing him was their own idea. Blake coordinated the entire operation from the shadows, her tactical genius turning apparent defeat into inevitable victory. She anticipated every move, countered every adaptation, remained 3 steps ahead of minds that processed information faster than quantum computers. The climax came without drama or spectacle. Kane's device activated deep within the enemy command ship. The collective consciousness that had conquered a dozen systems simply ceased to exist. Across the stellar system, biomechanical constructs froze in place as their controlling intelligence dissolved into quantum static. The Alterian survivors returned to find their worlds, saved by 5 humans who seemed no different from any others. They offered rewards, territories, technological exchanges. Alpha Team 7 politely declined everything except transport back to human space. Captain Reynolds watched them depart with profound relief. She had witnessed something that defied conventional understanding, not supernatural power or advanced technology, but human ingenuity pushed to its absolute limits. These were individuals who had looked at impossible problems and refused to accept impossibility as an answer. In her final report to Earth Command, she wrote simply, "Mission accomplished. Recommend no further deployment of Alpha assets unless facing extinction-level threats." The Alterian civilization survived to flourish for millennia afterward. In their historical records, they described the day 5 ordinary humans arrived and demonstrate why their species had earned respect throughout the galaxy. Not through conquest or intimidation, but through the simple recognition that when humans were asked for help, they delivered solutions that redefined what was possible. The distress beacon fell silent, its purpose fulfilled by those who understood that sometimes the most dangerous weapon was a human mind that refused to quit. Chat controls Sonnet 4.